They told you to chase money. The truth? Money chases value. Look around. This system trains obedience, not independence. They don't want you free, they want you dependent. Real wealth isn't your balance, it's capability. The skilled rebuild from zero, the unskilled serve the system. Welcome, gentlemen. Last time we exposed how money keeps men obedient and weak. Now let's go deeper. Turn skill into freedom and opportunity. Understand the system, then beat it by becoming valuable, not obedient. This channel builds masculinity and leadership. When a man is strong, disciplined, and leading, everyone wins. Jobs once promised stability. That era is over. Loyalty isn't rewarded. Technology replaced it. Machines do men's work. AI now writes, designs, calculates, and decides. Dependence on the system is a losing game. Ali said it best, don't rely on jobs, become valuable. The 9-to-5 was never about freedom. It produced obedient workers. Today, the world needs fewer workers and more builders. Money inflates. Currencies fail. The numbers in your accounts are fragile promises, vulnerable to the whims of markets and the erosion of time. But there is a different kind of wealth, one that grows stronger with every challenge, immune to economic chaos. That wealth is skill. It is untaxable, unseizable, and stored within you. It is anti-fragile, not just resilient to shocks, but strengthened by them. When economies shake and systems crumble, the skilled don't just survive. They adapt, they innovate, and they thrive. Men who build, design, speak, lead, fix, or teach, they are the engines of progress. They produce tangible value, not dependence on a fragile system. This mindset, the drive to create rather than consume, is what separates the free man from the one who is enslaved by circumstance. True wealth is creation. It's the alchemy of turning abstract problems into concrete solutions, raw inputs into finished value. This is the foundation of sovereignty, the power to generate your own opportunity, your own security, independent of any employer or institution. History's great men weren't born rich, they were relentlessly curious. Leonardo da Vinci filled notebooks with engineering and anatomy. Between 1507 and 1513, he dissected human cadavers and drew the heart's valves with surgical accuracy, Royal Collection Trust. His Codex Atlanticus records flying machine studies, the flapping ornithopter, and the aerial screw, a 15th century helicopter concept, Bibliotheca Ambrosiana, British Library. The Wright brothers were bicycle mechanics from Dayton who built a wind tunnel in 1901 and tested hundreds of wing shapes to perfect lift and control, Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. On December 17, 1903, at Kitty Hawk, their flyer achieved the first controlled, powered flight, 12 seconds, 120 feet, followed by longer flights that day, U.S. National Park Service. Skill, experiment, and iteration, that's how reality gets bent. These men weren't lucky, they were disciplined. Thomas Edison didn't just have ideas. He built systems for innovation, filing over 1,000 patents through sheer volume of work. Steve Jobs didn't invent the phone. He obsessed over craftsmanship and user experience until he redefined the entire category. Their power came not from their starting position, but from the thousands of hours of deliberate practice, the constant feedback loops, and the compounding improvements that made them indispensable. The arena has changed, but the principle is eternal. Your weapon isn't a sword or a patent office, it's your skill set. The modern battlefield is digital, the materials are intellectual, but the demand for mastery is higher than ever. Learn, adapt, execute. In an age of disposable content and fleeting attention, true craftsmanship is the ultimate competitive advantage. Markets don't pay for effort, they pay for solved problems. The harder the problem, the more specialized the skill required, the higher the value you command. Rarity is the currency of freedom, and it is earned, not given. It is forged in the discipline of becoming undeniably, irreplaceably valuable. The internet is not a trend. It is the new economic reality, a digital gold rush that is vast, untamed and profoundly real. But this frontier isn't conquered by luck, it's claimed by vision. While the masses are lost in the noise, a new class of builders is quietly staking claims where the world's most valuable resource is flowing: attention. They understand that the old maps are useless here. They are drawing new ones. In this new world, you don't mine land. You mine attention. You cultivate ideas. And you forge skill. Unlike physical resources, these assets are infinite. Ideas replicate without cost. Skills scale with practice. And attention, when captured and directed, becomes the most powerful lever for influence and wealth creation. This is the essence of digital alchemy, the disciplined process of turning intangible knowledge into tangible outcomes. It's not magic. It's a system where your intellectual output becomes your economic engine. The barrier to entry has never been lower. The tools are cheap, often free. The knowledge is abundant, a click away. The potential audience is global, connected, and waiting. So what stops most people? It isn't a lack of resources, it's a lack of belief. A failure to see the tectonic shift happening right under their feet. They are consumers in a world that has opened the doors to creation for everyone. This skepticism is a familiar echo. They mocked Bitcoin, dismissing it as a scam, a fantasy, just numbers on a screen. They saw the code but missed the revolution, the birth of a decentralized, sovereign system of value operating entirely outside the control of banks and governments. They laughed at the digital token, failing to understand the power of a global permissionless protocol. But the contrarian, the student of history and technology, saw something different. They understood the shift from centralized trust to distributed consensus. Their investment wasn't a gamble on price, it was a calculated allocation into a new paradigm. They held conviction through the noise, the doubt, and the volatility. And they were rewarded not by luck, but by foresight. So who was truly crazy, the one who studied the underlying innovation, or the chorus of mockers who clung to the past? The herd instinctively fears inflection points. They seek comfort in the familiar, but all significant opportunity lives in the territory where the crowds are afraid to go. Today, they say an online business isn't a real business. They miss the fundamental truth. The internet is the ultimate distribution channel and leverage machine. They see a YouTuber and miss the one-person media company. They see a digital course and miss the infinitely scalable educational asset. They see a niche e-commerce site and miss the global micro-brand built on content and community. Their limited perspective is your strategic advantage. The internet is not just another tool. It is actively restructuring the global economy. Value is becoming location independent. Gatekeepers who once controlled access to markets, audiences, and capital are fading into irrelevance. In this new landscape, you face a stark choice: become a creator, a builder, an owner, or remain a consumer, forever subject to the platforms built by others. Choose creation, or be left behind by the relentless march of progress. The mandate is clear: build assets. Not liabilities that drain your time and money, but digital assets that work for you. A YouTube channel is a media asset. A personal brand is a trust asset. A Shopify store is a commerce asset. An audience is a distribution asset. An email list is a communication asset. A piece of software is a utility asset. This is your digital real estate, working 24/7, compounding your effort, and ultimately buying your freedom. In this arena, failure is not the end. It is the tuition you pay for skill. Every failed launch returns dividends in market knowledge. Every awkward video teaches you presence. Every rejected offer sharpens your salesmanship. Builders are not born. They are forged in the feedback loop of the market. They relentlessly sharpen their tools: copywriting, video editing, sales psychology, design principles, community management, and logistics. Each skill stacks on the last, creating a formidable and resilient operator. Building an online business is the ultimate form of self-education. The market is the most honest teacher you will ever have. It gives no grades for effort, only results for value delivered. There are no credentials, only competence. In this process, you take complete ownership of your growth. You become anti-fragile, adaptable, and sovereign. You become competent, and through competence, you become free. Schools breed dependence. They teach compliance, not power. Every man who escaped became his own teacher. Self-education is the true university of men. Tesla, Da Vinci, Jobs. No permission, only practice. They taught themselves. Books, videos, reps. Discipline is the new campus. Every hour learning is an hour stolen from slavery. Master one skill, valuable. 2, rare. 3, unstoppable. Money follows value, but the system we were sold grooms dependence, not capability. It taught us to be cogs in a machine, easily replaced and controlled. Real wealth was never about the paycheck. It's about the capacity to create value on demand. The skilled man can rebuild from nothing because his wealth is internal. The unskilled man, stripped of his job, is left with nothing. He is forced to submit to the next system that will have him. Welcome back. This channel is a forge for masculine leaders, men who are strong, disciplined, and undeniably useful to themselves, their families, and their communities. We are here to convert latent potential into tangible skill, and that skill into sovereign freedom. To win, you must first understand the game you're playing. The goal isn't to be the most obedient employee, it's to become so valuable that obedience is no longer a requirement. The illusion of stability is gone. Corporate loyalty has been replaced by cold, hard results. Technology, particularly AI, is not just automating factory floors. It's absorbing white-collar work, from coding to creative design. The 9-to-5 was never a path to freedom. It was a production line for workers. That era is over. The market no longer needs compliant workers. It demands builders, creators, and problem solvers. Money inflates and devalues. Skill compounds. It is the one asset that once acquired can never be taken from you. Mastery, whether in ancient crafts or modern digital arts, is the ultimate source of power. The market doesn't buy your time. It buys solutions to its problems. And when your skill is rare, you don't just earn a living, you buy your freedom. The internet is the modern frontier, a landscape of infinite leverage. Here, you can build digital assets that work for you around the clock. Every video, every line of code, every piece of content is a brick in the foundation of your independence. Even failure is a net gain, returning invaluable data and skill. Treat this frontier not as a lottery, but as your personal apprenticeship. You must become your own teacher. The curriculum is simple. Study, apply, repeat. Consume knowledge with intent, then immediately put it into practice. This is the rebirth of the craftsman in the digital age. Mastery is not a gift. It is forged through the relentless discipline of daily practice. This process makes you anti-fragile, adaptable, unstoppable. This is the masculine challenge. Execution. Ideas are worthless without it. Here is your framework. The 90-day builder sprint. Days 1 to 7. Choose one problem for one audience on one platform. Weeks 2 to 4. Ship a new version every single week and document your lessons. Weeks 5 to 8. Refine your message, improve your offer, and gather proof. Weeks 9 to 12. Systematize what works. No permission. No waiting for perfect. Only reps. You don't need to learn everything. You need to master one thing. Pick one skill that solves a painful problem and go all in. Control your environment and your focus. One single, uninterrupted hour of deep work each day will put you in the top 1%. That is the daily battle. Start now. Build. Fail. Learn. Rebuild. This is the path. Skill is the new, non-negotiable currency. The man who possesses it doesn't chase money. He builds value. And in a world starved of real capability, money, respect, and freedom will have no choice but to chase him. This is RYM High, where masculinity and leadership are forged. When a man is strong, disciplined, and leading, everyone benefits. Stay sharp, stay focused, and keep building value. Your skill is your power.